Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. A Russian missile struck a passenger train in Dnipro, shattering carriages and leaving casualties and damaged infrastructure in its wake. With NATO leaders gathered in The Hague, Kyiv says these attacks highlighted the urgent need for enhanced air defense and protected transport systems. Joining us today on TVP World is Oleksandr Shevchenko of Ukrainian Railways, who can share the operational and safety challenges facing civilians on Ukraine's rail network. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, and greetings from the Kyiv Central Railway Station.
Can you help us describe how this missile strike affected train operations and passenger safety at the time?
Well, to start with, the missile that hit the suburbs of Dnipro yesterday, it didn't hit the train directly. It hit the building close to where the train was going. So basically, it wasn't a direct hit, and we were lucky with that, because if it were a direct hit, then much more damage could have been caused to people and the carriages itself. But luckily, there have been no one has died as a result of this attack, and no severe damages have been done to all the people on board, to both 528 passengers and the 19 people of the crew. The rail itself, it wasn't damaged in any way that is not irrestoreable. Our operations have been severed for 2 hours at this piece of the route, so we had to use some extra carriages that have been supplied to the region, and we had to use the auxiliary route in order to get the people safely to Zaporizhia from Odessa. Otherwise, the train itself, the route itself, and then the people who were on board this train, they have arrived on time, and the carriage we put in place of the damaged train cars, they have also arrived on time to Odessa. So basically, Ukraine has seen the attacks like this, and it's no more. I wouldn't say it's no big deal for the railway, because it's always a big deal. I mean, people have been damaged and the train cars have been damaged, but it's not something that can sever the operations of the railway. Everything moves along the tracks in Ukraine these days, because the railway system itself, it's the strategic infrastructure, and everything starting from the Western aid and ending with the wounded. It goes on the railway, so we cannot pause for a second. So we usually find either the auxiliary routes or just repair the tracks in a matter of hours, so that we don't stop the traffic.
All right, so it sounds like it's not a precedent when Ukrainian railway has been struck, and I can imagine it's very difficult to maintain the functionality of these very important transportation method at a time of war. How do you guys usually go about kind of remaining operational with the bombing still going on, and what are some of the immediate steps that Ukrainian railway used to take to protect passengers in the route of services?
Well, first of all, we have quite an extensive network of the railway network in Ukraine, and we have the main routes and auxiliary routes, and whenever something is hit, we usually go for the existing routes, sometimes even those that are not marked on the map. We have certain railway routes that are hidden for purpose, so that the enemy would not know about them. That's why sometimes our train drivers take independent decisions when they see any damage, any threat on the rail, or we have the reports of something that is going on in the region. We can reroute and just use another track to get people safely to their destination point. As per the people at the time of the attack, at the time of the air raid alerts, we have our protocols of safety. They may be. Well, the protocols are different depending on the situation and depending on the region. In this exact scenario, yesterday, we had to stop the train once it was hit by the wave, and to get everyone safely out near the at the nearest shelter, so that the people would get their first medical aid at the shelter already. We have our train crews are trained to do the first medical aid, to apply first medical aid. So that's what they did. And then the ambulances pulled up. We had to pause for a few minutes so that everyone gets medical treatment at the early stage. And then we have found the extra train that could, since it wasn't the last stop of this train, so we had to find a way to get all those people to their homes or whatever they were seeking. So basically, our principal task at the first stage, whenever some air alert goes on, is to find a safe point for the people, and then to keep transporting them to their destination.
Do you think there's any kind of physical or technological upgrades that Ukraine railway can apply to kind of protect the civilians, or do you believe that perhaps air defense and more effort on the part of the military could probably better prevent the damage to the civilian infrastructure?
Since we are a country at war, there is no such thing as completely safe place or completely safe structure in Ukraine these days. So we just have to be as safe and secure as possible. Mm-hmm. So we have our ways of communicating with the military. We have our dispatch and control, and the train, since it is a moving target after all, it's really hard to fit and really hard to hit. And it has been proven since the beginning of full-scale invasion that there hasn't been so much damage to the moving trains. Well, it has been, the infrastructure itself has been damaged a number of times. And we have a history of Ukrainian infrastructure being hit every single day. But as for the trains themselves, they are a moving target, and we have dispatch and control, which allows us to either speed up or slow down the trains, or even reroute them in case of danger. So in that way, it's as safe as it gets. So as to any auxiliary methods and additional security things, we have put so many protocols in place that I doubt that anything else can be done transportation-wise. But military-wise, of course, more control of the air in Ukraine, that would be beneficial for both the railway transportation and for actually any other process in the country.
It's actually very amazing to see how these workarounds are taking place, and the railway still maintains functionality under all these sort of stress. Now, do you think that these sort of attacks will affect the public confidence and mobility in the region?
It shouldn't, because it hasn't been the first, and let's be honest, it won't be the last attack on the infrastructure in Ukraine. So basically, it hasn't changed much of in the eyes of the Ukrainian population. Point is, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, since the very first day, the Ukrainian railways has been something for the people to rely on, because we are hell-bent on running on time. We have made it our focus to be reliable and predictable. So something has to be reliable and predictable in Ukraine these days. And the trains are one such thing. So we continue our operations, and the fact that the trains, even after they are hit, even after the route itself is severed, we find a way to arrive on time. It is something that proves to the ordinary people, to everyone in the country, that we can find a way out, and we can keep the logistical, we can continue the transportation of all the strategic cargo, of all the military, of the goods, and everything necessary. So everything keeps running on time.
And that's some amazing showcase of the famous Ukrainian resilience that is being demonstrated right here. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.